Hey everybody, it's Mr. Luce, and today we're going to learn about creating forms from a wash. Now, as we already know, a form is something that is three-dimensional. It's something sculptural, something that takes up space. It has multiple sides to it, right? That is a form. Forms are not flat. That would be considered a shape. And so what we're going to learn today is that while we are creating shapes from a wash, we're going to create it into a form by the way of drawing. All right, we're going to kind of manipulate it a little bit. So a wash is when you create a drawing or a picture with just a watered down version of either ink or watercolor. And we're going to use watercolor today. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to get some of your water and you're going to just draw on your paper. You're going to have clean water, but I'm using black water, so it's just a little bit easier to see while I'm making this video. And we're just putting plain water down onto our paper. And I'm not drawing or making anything particular, just kind of like a shape. It can be organic or geometric. I'm going to do more organic. It'll be easier to turn it into something. I'm just putting down a lot of water onto my paper, okay? Next, I'm going to use a color. I would suggest black because it's easier, but if you want to use an actual color, you can. And I'm just placing my brush onto the wet paper, okay? And as you can see, the paint, or if you're using ink, the ink will kind of just spread on its own. Now, cleaning my brush off and adding more water, I'm going to just dab the water and just kind of let the paint or ink take control. All I'm doing is just suggesting, hey, why don't you try mixing there? Or why don't you come over here just by placing some water down? Okay. So a wash is just a very simple layer of ink or paint, whatever you want. And if you want to go in and kind of mix it around a little bit to let it have a little more consistency so it doesn't look like kind of like a Dalmatian, right? Spotted. You want more of an even layer. You can, all right? So I want you to create about 3 or 4 different shapes in that way, okay? And then let it dry. And while you are letting that dry, or when it's dry, you're then going to get a pen or a marker, and we're gonna go in, okay, we're making sure it's dry, and we're gonna take our little shapes and we're going to turn them into forms. We're going to make them look more three-dimensional and we're going to draw them into something. So I'm going to start with this one. This, when it came out, it kind of looks like a person, and I didn't do that on purpose, but I did notice that once it dried. So I'm just going to go in, just kind of do like a contour. So just right, like maybe I can draw on it. And you can get as simple or as detailed as you want. Looks like a baby, right? And again, you can get as simple or as detailed as you want. That is up to you. We're just kind of experimenting here on how we are going to create. So there we go. All right, so I just turned this simple little blob into an actual picture. Okay, so I've got somebody. Now we're gonna go over here, and this kind of reminds me of like a vegetable. So I'm going to just kind of, and if you want to go back and kind of fill in, you can, but I wouldn't. I'd kind of just leave like the extra spaces just to kind of like play around with it. Right? Okay. So there we go. We've got kind of like a little like beet or like baby carrot thing going on. Okay. And I'm gonna work on this. And this kind of reminds me of a fish. So I'm gonna make this into a fish. And you can get as creative or as weird with it as you want. Okay. If you even wanted to go in with maybe like a gel pen or a paint pen or like a white pen to even go back in and add some more or less more detail, or you can have less, that always works, right? I kind of like the simpler. I don't like it too detailed because I feel like it kind of takes away. I think more simple, like these two, is more beautiful, but just kind of gives you an idea of how to create some simple forms by using a wash first. Okay.